what's really fascinating to me about, you know, really getting to work with so many people from all around the world, really all around the world, like from America, from England, from Canada, from the Middle East, from Europe, from Asia. I have clients from all over the world, and it gives me like a sense of what's going on in relationships all around the world, and I'm seeing like major similarities. Like, in fact, like there's one thing that seems to be a major relationship uh, destroyer or buster, which is I experienced it in my relationship, and I'm seeing it pretty much with 80% of the people who I'm talking to, which is trust, insecurity, uh, jealousy, um, those that sort of thing. So trust, insecurity, jealousy, basically fear, yeah, fear in a relationship, coming from low self-esteem, uh, low self-confidence. It stems from a lack of self-love, a lack of self-confidence, a lack of that feeling of, you know, you feel confident and whole in yourself, so you start to put a lot of your happiness and uh, your sense of feeling whole and complete and secure. You start to put that on the person that you're in a relationship with. So it's all dependent on them. So naturally, when your happiness is dependent, or your sense of wholeness or security is dependent on someone else, you're naturally going to be afraid, because you have no control over someone else, and you never will, and you never should. Okay? The only person you can ever control, or should ever be able to control, is yourself. So when we start to when we find someone, when we get in a relationship, when we start to make this person our source of happiness, make this person our source of love and feeling, whole and complete and confident, when we do that, basically, even if we're a confident person in ourselves at this time, when we start to load all of these things onto someone else, we will naturally start to create insecurity within us, fear within us, you know, because this person now holds everything that's dear to us, which is our happiness, our sense of wholeness, our sense of security. And all those things should be held within us. We should be responsible for those things, not the person that we're in a relationship with. The person we're in a relationship with should be doing the same for themselves, should be responsible for their own happiness, their own wholeness, their own health, their own self-esteem. I'm not saying now 100% they should be doing that for themselves, and we should be 100% doing this for ourselves. No, we can kind of share and support each other, and energize each other, guide each other, be coaches for each other, but I'm not going to put all of my happiness and my wholeness and my sense of security and trust on someone else. I'm going to put maybe 30% of it, 40% at most. So when when we place all of these important things into the hands of someone else, then naturally we're creating seeds of insecurity, of fear within us, because, as I said, we cannot control someone else, so we're always going to be afraid of, like, who are they with? Can they be taken away from us? Will they leave us? All of these sorts of things. And it's not because we're going to miss them, it's because we're going to actually miss our happiness. We're going to miss our sense of wholeness. We're going to miss our sense of security and purpose. All the things that we put into the lap of the people we're in a relationship with. What I wanted to talk about in this video specifically, and I'm sorry that it's taken me 6 minutes to get to this, but this is really the core of this video. When I'm talking about mistrust and insecurity and jealousy and all of these things, there's a common trap that I see so many people do, and I'll be honest, I see this mostly with men as opposed to women. But having said that, I see it with women as well. But majority of this I'm seeing with guys. Insecurity and their fear and jealousy manifesting in such a way that destroys the relationship, and the way that it manifests is as follows. It's so interesting. And I think, if anything, anyone out there who has suffered this or might be going through this right now or dealing with this now, or perhaps in a future relationship this knowledge will be helpful for, just knowing this knowledge and for us to share it with each other and talk about it, I think is really going to help. I think it's helpful stuff for us to know about when we talk about relationships. And that is that, remember, attention is power, and our attention is an incredible reward. When we give our attention to someone or something, we're giving a reward to that person or to that thing. If you give your attention to your pet, your dog, your cat, you're giving that love, you're giving that attention. It's the same with if you're giving attention to your partner that you're in a relationship with, your family, your friends. You're giving them love, you're giving them a reward. The problem is with insecurity and fear and jealousy is that rather than giving our partners the attention, the reward at the correct times, we should be rewarding each other. And I don't, excuse me for getting all scientific here for a second, but the correct time and place to give a reward is when the person or the thing is doing something that you like, So if you're receiving love, if you're receiving attention, that's a good time to give attention back, to to give a reward back. And again, excuse me if this is all getting a bit cold and scientific and lacking emotion and love here, but just bear with me for a second, okay? Because I'll give you an example of what I'm sort of working towards, the point that I'm working towards. They did, for example, I remember reading this somewhere or watching this in an interview somewhere where they were talking about how people who, when they get sick, they get attention from their, mom or their dad, their family. And growing up as a child, if you're getting attention every time you're sick, then what are you actually learning? How is your mind being conditioned? That's a better thing to say. Your mind is being conditioned to receive a reward every time you are sick. Okay? It's this basically training you from a young age that if you do something, if you're sick or if you do something that's going to get sympathy, that's how you're going to get love and attention. So it's only going to teach people to want, to be okay and want to be sick, to get that attention. Okay, rather than when you're sick, and this sounds really counterintuitive, counterproductive, but imagine if you have a child who's sick, and rather than being all, giving them attention and giving them love and all of this, rather than that, you make it difficult for them. You're like, you teach them that being sick is not something that they want to, somewhere that they want to be, is not something that they want to spend too much time doing, because it's not a good place for them to be. So the way that not only humans, not the way that we, not only the way that we learn, but also animals, are conditioned in this way. They're rewarded when we are happy and satisfied with their behavior. If we're training a dog to protect sheep, if it's going to do a good job protecting, we give it a reward. The more it does its job properly, we give it a reward, and the more it does something wrong, we give it a punishment, or there is no reward. And it's the same with humans. If we're rewarding people with our greatest gift, which we aren't aware of, which is why we probably are making this mistake so much. But our greatest gift is our attention. When we give our attention, that's the greatest gift we can give. And if we're giving our attention and our love to someone who is, sick, we're conditioning them that, hey, whenever you're sick, you're going to get love and attention. So it's not just that. There's a lot of people that they receive love and attention by being difficult, by arguing, by fighting. And they also learn that from an early age that, hey, if I do this, I'm going to get attention. If I'm a difficult child and I spill my food, I'm going to get more attention. They're just learning that that's how to get attention. So now, how does this come into play with our relationships and how we're destroying our relationships? Well, when we're not giving our girlfriend or boyfriend, our partners, when we're not giving them attention because we're busy with work, we're busy with our life, and we see them every day, and we're kind of getting, it's getting a bit old, and we're losing that space that we have, and whatever, we start to give less and less attention, okay, and then God, God knows, for some reason, perhaps one day we might suspect that our partners might be doing something untrustworthy, maybe talking to someone, that we don't feel comfortable with, or, whatever it is. They've gone out, they haven't texted us, or something happens. What do? We suddenly give them a lot of attention. Where have you been? Why didn't you text? Why, blah, 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 blah. All of this doesn't mean anything. The real impact that's happening is the fact that all the attention now is on them. They're receiving a lot of attention. And what we're teaching our partners by doing this is that this is how they are going to get love from us. This is how they're going to get attention from us. And so, even if they weren't doing anything wrong, they're going to realize that, so this is how I'm going to get attention from my boyfriend. This is how I'm going to get attention from my girlfriend, is if I start doing, behaving in a way that's going to create jealousy, mistrust, insecurity. There's a lot of people out there who do this and are actually aware of what they're doing. They're aware that by using jealousy, by using other people, by creating mistrust, insecurity, that they're going to get attention. Okay? There are a lot of people out there who are aware of what they're doing. A lot of girls out there who are aware of what they're doing. And there's guys out there who are aware of what they're doing. For the most part, with what I just described, I've seen, again, not to point the finger, both men and women are both guilty of this, but for that last part where a lot of people are aware of using jealousy, I've seen mostly that being used by women, okay? This is just from what I've been seeing in my experience with my coaching, with my clients, with the people I talk to. And it's not a surprise because at the end of the day, it's not the fault of the people using this either, because they're just in a situation where they're not getting the correct care. They're not getting the correct attention. They're basically not in a relationship, and they feel like there's this gap, there's this disconnect, and the only way that they can think of to create that connection again is through um, you know through this sort of things, through jealousy, through fighting, through arguing. That's the only way they can get the attention. It's a very dangerous game to play because you know it can create resentment from the other side, from your partner. They'll start to hate you, be angry with you, feel like betrayed, feel like they invested a lot of time and love, and now they can't trust you because they will believe what you're doing is true. They will not be able to see that the reason you're doing it is because you want love, you want attention, So this is one of the biggest messes that I see with relationships nowadays, and I think it's one of the biggest, if not the biggest issue with relationships these days. Seriously, 80% of relationships are failing because of this, or are at risk because of this, because of jealousy, insecurity, uh, mistrust. Okay, and we can manifest our greatest fears. So if we've been hurt in the past from someone who cheated on us, or was not trustworthy, or was creating jealousy and insecurity, the funny thing is, most of the people that I talk to, most of my clients, or most of the relationships that I see, a lot of them actually don't have the insecurity, the infidelity, sorry, does not materialize. The cheating doesn't actually happen. There's no cheating that happens. There's no infidelity that happens. It's just the insecurity and jealousy that just destroys the relationship. Without any cheating happening, without any of what what both people were afraid of, or what one person was afraid of, without that actually ever happening, the relationship ends. Yeah, so it's just the insecurity and the fear that just destroys the relationship. And it's almost because one person perhaps is so afraid of something that's going to happen that they end the relationship before it happens. Okay? So yeah, this is really, really critical stuff. And okay, so now we're talking about all of this and we're identifying these problems. And I want to just go back to the main problem is don't reward bad behavior with your attention. Don't reward it. That's when you ignore. That's when you should be withholding your attention. You should be giving attention, giving your reward, which is your attention, to your lover, to your love, to your partner, whenever good things happen. And then you train each other that way. Yes, relationships require us to train each other. There's nothing wrong with saying that. You've got to train your girlfriend. Your girlfriend's got to train you. You both train each other. Part of that training is how you use your reward and your punishment. Okay? I don't really like to talk about punishment so much, but reward and lack of reward, I think, is better. And your reward, choose when to give attention. It's important. And our attention in an ideal world should be ever flowing. We should always be interested in our partner. Yeah? Not just no interest. Remember, where is this problem coming from? It's coming from a lack of attention. It's coming from when we're tired and we're just not giving each other that love and that attention anymore. So this kind of relationship has this staleness, this emptiness, this lack of connection to it. And then the only time when a connection is established is when there's mistrust. Then there's talking and attention and hey, where were you? And well, let's talk about this. No, we should talk about this. This is important. All right. So women, men, both relationships want to talk. They want to be connected. You need better reasons than mistrust, jealousy. So solutions, in my opinion, come back to another video that I made a while ago on, I think it was called something like how to save your relationship or something. And, so solutions to all of this, in my opinion, a big one is create breaks. Have a day off, where you spend a day for yourself, your partner spends a day for themselves. Don't be in each other's faces constantly. Don't be texting each other constantly. Give each other some breaks. Miss each other a little bit. Give each other some space. Me time is very important. Okay? Me time for both people so that you connect with yourself, your partner connects with yourself, there's enough space so that you miss each other, that you're always missing each other. See, I do this with everything in my life. I do this with jiu-jitsu, I do this with relationships. If I'm training every day, jiu-jitsu, every day, nonstop, it's gonna burn me out, I'm gonna get bored of it, and I'm gonna not want to do it again. It's the same with my favorite foods. If I eat my favorite food every day, there's an amazing sushi place just down the street. It's incredible. But you know what? If I eat that every day, I'm going to burn it out and I'm never going to want it again. I'm going to get sick of it. Okay, and it's the same thing with anything. If I have too much sex, every day, nonstop, sex, 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 I'm going to get sick of having sex. I'm going to ruin that. Right? You find the best thing in the world, you do it too much, you're going to get sick of it. So even if you're with the perfect person for you, the ideal person for you, if you spend too much time together, too much, you're going to get sick and you're going to burn it out. Then you're going to not give each other attention. There's going to be this emptiness, this disconnect, and then the connection, the reward you're going to give each other is only going to come when people are doing the wrong shit, when you're hurting each other in some way, hurting each other to get attention. All right? So I hope this video helps. That was only one solution, right? The breaks, the gaps. But there are many solutions. Another important solution, in my opinion, one of the most important solutions of all, is communicate. All right? Look, why would you want to be in a relationship with someone you cannot communicate freely and openly and honestly with? Why? Why? One of the greatest things about a relationship is being able to just speak openly and honestly, as if you're talking to one of your best friends, And if you can't speak openly, honestly, directly with your relationship because of an intelligence barrier, because of a communication barrier, because, whatever reason there is that you're not able to communicate openly, honestly with your partner, I hate to say it, but that's a red flag. Because look, there's no rules for relationships. There's no rules. Okay, you can have a super smart person with someone who's not on the same intelligence level, and that can work out. Okay, there can be all kinds of relationships. There can be a dominant male and a, submissive female, and that can be a happy relationship. There can be a dominant female and a submissive male, and that can be a happy relationship. There can be both people who wear the pants, and that can be great. There can be two submissive people, and that can be great. There's no rules, okay? I'm just expressing my personal view, and I think for me, to be in a relationship with someone, I want to be able to speak freely, be myself, be open, be honest, speak directly. And I think that that's one of the greatest joys of being in a relationship, is to be able to be yourself with someone else. So if you're not able to do that for some reason because you have different way of lifestyle, a different way of thinking, different way of communicating, different intelligence levels, then it's something serious that you have to look at. Okay. Otherwise, think about what I said with giving each other enough space to miss each other, to keep your own self-love healthy, because your relationship's going to be energized by your own relationship with yourself. The happier you are, the healthier you are as a person, the more you're going to be able to put into your relationship. The more wisdom, strength, energy, love, attention you'll be able to put into your relationship. Okay? And you'll be able to be wise enough to know if you're in the wrong relationship or in a right relationship. All right, anyway, for now, that's all I got. And remember, don't reward bad behavior with your attention. So be aware of when you're rewarding and when you're, punishing, or the absence of your attention. Okay? Hope this video helps, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Adios for now. Bye.